last time talking about CSS, and want to spend a bit of time now going back to HTML. So at the beginning of the course we'll be jumping back and forth between the two. So we've some of Web Project 3, which is Southern State, to finish off. Also, we'll just have a look back at what we did in terms of CSS over the last week, and then I want to jog your memories a little bit, just give you some questions to do, and then we're going to start looking at Dreamweaver. If we just have an overall look at the course, so there's 5 major projects, and then there's this CSS stuff as well, exercises that you should also be doing in conjunction with the 5 major projects. And then we spent the last while updating projects 1, 2, and 3 with CSS, which was a very good exercise, I thought. So now we're going on to the second part of the course, where we look at using Dreamweaver to generate HTML and looking at a third-party graphics program, the one we use, PaintShop Pro, to make basic web graphics. So that's it, yeah. So from now on, I suppose Dreamweaver will be doing the CSS for us, but having done a bit of raw coding in CSS, it means we'll be able to understand what's going on. Also, Dreamweaver will be writing the HTML code for us, but again, unless you go through the process of actually hard coding HTML and spending a bit of time with it, you'll never understand it properly. So it just means when you come to use Dreamweaver, you won't be just overwhelmed by what's going on, all this CSS and HTML. You'll have an idea of it. And by the way, there are lots of people out there who use Dreamweaver, they don't even know what HTML or CSS is, which is, you're in a pretty weak position if that's the case. And like I admit that I have to admit there's stuff about CSS that I don't know, that I'd love to have time to learn about it. But yeah, I got an interesting phone call from an instructor down the country somewhere. I can't even remember where she was working, asking me about the web authoring course. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. So I think the web authoring was fairly new in FETAC at that stage. And she was asking me about Dreamweaver and what programs to use and stuff. And then, just before she hung up, she said, "Can I ask you one more question?" And bear in mind, this is the person teaching web authoring. I said, "Yeah." She said, "What's HTML anyway?" Like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know much about it, but at least I know a little bit more than that. So we're going to finish Web Project 3 today, and then we're going to hop on to 4 and 5. They do take a long time to get through 4 and 5, because there's a lot in it. There's learning Dreamweaver, a completely new package, learning PaintShop Pro, a completely new package, and then a few other bits and pieces. Once you have all that stuff done, there's 2 small assignments at the end. One to show you how to link SAN to the website, one to show you how to divide an image up into multiple clickable regions. For example, if you imagine the map of Ireland, making 32 hyperlinks out of the map of Ireland, it's called an image map. Once we've finished all that stuff and the CSS exercises, then you're ready to do your project. And remember, there's no exam in web authoring at the moment anyway. So the project is it. And for those of you doing the project, that's the home page. There's your project deadline there, the 29th of May. Thomas, you're doing the project too?
Yeah.
Have I seen that yet? I have, haven't I?
Yeah, still.
I gave you feedback on it.
Yeah, I'm still correct in there.
So you're aiming for that submission deadline, yeah? Okay, so you've got, it seems like a long time away, just over 2 months. So, make sure you get something done at each week. Martin?
Yeah, are we on?
You doing that as well, will you? Have you started?
Well, I know what I'm doing. I know what I have to do.
What are you doing your project on? I haven't seen it yet.
The wife, she makes handmade cards.
Alright.
So doing it on that.
So you're going to use a scanner then to scan the cards, or does she make, I'm not sure if they're handmade, she couldn't make them digitally.
Yeah, so I'll scan them on too.
Sounds like an interesting project.
The videos making the cards.
And Sinead, you've started your project, so that's your submission date as well. Anthony, it's probably a bit early for you to be doing a project, and Philip as well.
I have an idea, alright, but I haven't done anything with it.
Say again?
I have have an idea, all right, but I haven't actually done anything with it.
What's your idea?
I was going to attend something like a lot of photographs, holiday stuff,
All right.
and make a website out of something like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to do. I mean, I do it there. I mean, very basic. I'm actually working on this page at the moment to make it a little bit more interesting. But I find it great, that type of stuff. That's just, I use a piece of software called Web Album Generator because I'm lazy to do that. But I certainly find that since I started doing that I look at my photos a lot more often than I used to, because otherwise you just end up with stacks of printed photographs in a cupboard somewhere that you never look at. In fact, I have a load of printed photographs from pre-digital photography days, and I feel really old when I say that, that I should scan. And yeah, so that, anyway, that's a good idea for a project, making a photo album. Tom, you're going to be doing your project a little bit later down the road. Yeah. Okay.
When you scan in a photograph, do you lose much of the content?
Depends on the resolution of your scanner, but no, not really. Like a digital, I reckon, unless the printout originally was really high quality, like most digital photographs would actually be higher quality than printed ones. Like some of the photographs that I have, like they're from, film cameras, and you just hand it into the chemist to get it printed, and like they're not great quality in the first place. Like the colours are a bit dull and stuff. So I think you get it the same quality as it is, but if you're doing like really professional stuff, you need a very high quality scanner. Okay, let's just do a quick review of what we were doing last time. Oh no, we didn't have any slides, but we were looking at CSS. So we did all of that page using CSS, and then we did all of this page using CSS. The reason it's in really strange colours is because we were just looking at how easy it is to update your formatting once you have everything in a central CSS page. So let's just have a look at that central CSS page. Remember that a CSS page has a different file extension. It's .css, not .htm. And all of these web pages here, they were made quite a while ago, so they have 3-letter file extensions .htm. But with Windows, from Windows Vista on, Windows accepts longer file extensions, so you're actually better off using .html, even though it says in the book to use .htm. So just try and get into the habit of using .html. If I just have a look at this, if you want, just one thing there, because I have Dreamweaver installed on my PC, there's a Dreamweaver logo next to it. If I double click this, it'll open in Dreamweaver, but I want to look at it in Notepad, so you just right click and then it's not open, it's open with and Notepad. Just to review what we did, so this style here, that first letter, that controls the S, the E and the A. So it's Arial, remember that's the amount of red, that's the amount of green, that's the amount of blue. So anybody remember the decimal number that FF corresponds to?
15.
It corresponds to, well, a single F corresponds to 15. What does double F correspond to?
99.
No. It's, I suppose, it's one way of looking at it, yeah, it's equivalent to 99, in that if you have 2 decimal digits, the highest number you can get is 99. If you have 2 hexadecimal digits, the highest number you can have is FF. But what decimal number does FF correspond to?
255.
255, yes, very good. So it's the maximum number that you can get from 2 hexadecimal digits. Remember that in hexadecimal there's 16 numbers, so 9 is the 10th number in our system. So then the next 6 numbers are A, B, C, D, E, F. So F is the 16th number. FF corresponds to 255. So that what that colour there is saying is the maximum amount of red, the maximum amount of green, 0 blue, and that ends up with that kind of yellow. I mean, it's very common knowledge when you mix red and green, you get yellow. The font size is 48 and the font weight is bold. So that's what that style is doing there. Can anybody tell me why did I use a name that I made up letter, why didn't I just link it to, say, the paragraph tag or something?
Where is the tripping?
No, that's not the reason.
More
Control
control.
to affect the first letter.
Yeah, because more control, exactly. Because I have very specific requirements about when I want to apply this style. I actually only want to apply it in 3 places. I don't want to apply it anywhere else. If I'll just show you what happens actually if probably not this page is a very good example. If we go to the home page, can anybody tell me what would happen if I just do this? One change, interesting. I'll save this. What will happen when I refresh this? Will anything happen?
Any text?
Well,
Become a paragraph tag.
yeah, it'll only affect places where I've used the paragraph tag. I don't actually know if I've used the paragraph tag or not. So it affected the 3 letters because they don't have paragraph tags around them. If I view the source here, if we look at the S in Southern, it actually has span around it, so it doesn't have paragraph around it, so it's sort of disappearing, it's not getting any formatting. But say if I went and changed this to TD, so linking it to the TD tag, do you think there'll be any effect when I refresh the page? Yeah, what will happen?
Anything that's in the table?
Yeah, anything that's in the table should get that formatting, but I think there's other things going on as well, so it didn't, something changed, didn't it? No. There's a whole thing in CSS in relation to the precedence of tags and nesting of tags, so there's probably something like that going on there. The point is anyway that you can, if you link a style to a tag, it'll happen every time you use that tag. Whereas if you link a style or a class style, you can decide when you want to apply that style. What was called that first letter, wasn't it? Okay, here we are, we're back. The remaining letters of the title are in that style there. So the only difference really is the colour. So that's maximum amount of red, maximum amount of green, maximum amount of blue, which gives white. Everything else is the same, 48, bold, Arial. The background colour there, dot heading background, that's that blue colour there. So say I change this to FF. So it's going to be more kind of a red colour. You can see that that's nice actually, isn't it? That's kind of pink. You see that it affects it straight away, and it should also affect it on this page. And that's like really demonstrating my skill in colour mixing there. And that's the benefit of CSS, that you have great control over your website formatting. Better change that back to blue. Otherwise we're all going mad. Notice my comments here. Comments are different in CSS. It's / star and then */. So what's this thing here? It has descriptive text on the web page is in a table cell that requires a style linked to the TD tag to format it. You can see that my CSS page is quite big, and like I find that comment quite useful because I know straight away now what's going on, whereas if I didn't put it in, I wouldn't have it would take me a while to figure it out. So this style here, and that's why the TD thing didn't work earlier on, because I already had a TD. It affects everything in the TD tag, and that's basically all the blue text there. So say I wanted to change the text to black. What's the code for black?
All zeros.
All zeros, yeah. So it's the complete absence of colours: 0 red, 0 green, 0 blue. Save that. And then when I refresh this, it'll affect all of the blue text because the blue text is in TD tags. So we change back to blue again. The next one here, format the subheadings and the marquee text to Arial bold red 16 pixels. So that's obviously not working because it's black at the moment. Let's see if we can fix that. marquee text is supposed to be red. 330000. I think that's the wrong code. I just want to check something here. So if I put in FF, that is full red. Oh, so it's working. I think I just used the wrong code, because in the actual book it's a more kind of a wine type colour. That again is using a class style, so we link to the style using that name there, dot subheadings. So if we have a look at that, the marquee text, for example, there's a marquee text, and the marquee text is inside the table cell. The table cell without this class link and subheadings will pick up that blue style there, because remember the blue style is linked to the TD tag. So if I take out the class for a second, save that, and then refresh, when I refresh it, the marquee should be exactly the same formatting as this, as you can see, because it's linked to a TD tag, or it's in a TD tag. But if we put the class back in, class will kind of have a higher level of priority than the TD tag. So when I save that and refresh it, it gets that format. Next thing is this one here, the body. What's that doing?
Pushing the text out from the edge.
Yeah, it's created this margin here, and if you remember the old way of doing it, we had to put in a blank table cell in all the tables, which created an awful lot of code and was difficult to handle. Here we've great control over the margins, and because it's in the body tag, it affects the entire web page, and you can control the margins very easily. So if I change it to 100 and refresh that, it shows it in a little bit more, and again that's going to affect every page, because all the pages are linked to the body, to that style sheet. So your website is kind of locked down in terms of consistency. So it's a very, very good way to format your website. And just for everybody who's doing their project, make sure that you have an external style sheet. Kieran, we were asking people about their project before you came in. Have you started your project?
Yeah, I started mine the other day, yeah.
Right. What's it on?
Just the music review side.
Okay. And don't forget that you have to do the write-up first. So you have to, find two similar websites, evaluate them, decide what your target audience is, what the objectives of your website are.
Yeah, I've started that, yeah.
Yeah, if you could show me that document at some stage.
Yeah.
If you could. And make sure you do all your formatting using CSS.
I will.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the margin, just change back to 40. Next one, apply background color of dark gray to a table cell. That is going on in here. I've actually changed the colours, so the comment doesn't really apply anymore. So you might as well just see how easy it is to change. Just change it back to what it's supposed to be. Just bear with me a second while I find this. Does anybody have any questions? Is everybody confident enough with CSS at this stage? There is one thing that I had been meaning to do, but with all this stuff, other stuff going on, I don't think I'm going to get time to do it. And it's to do with the fact that you can use CSS to position stuff on the page. You can position tables, images, everything, and it's all to do with the div tag. And this CSS book, by the way, if you look for it, it's on my desk. Just take it if you want and put it back afterwards. I was kind of reading up on it, and I didn't quite. I realised that I've spent quite a bit of time to do it, but that'll be interesting for if any of you guys want to figure out how to do that. But for the moment, this time around, this series of lectures, probably just leave it at the level we're at here, which is plenty, I think. But for anybody who wants to go further, I think the next step is to use the div tag to position stuff on a page. And it would mean, if you do that, it would mean that, say that page, for example, I'm using a table here to position the image and the text, but you wouldn't have to do that anymore. You just do it using div tags, so you have much more control then over what's going on. So yeah, if anybody, I guess what I'm saying is, if anybody finds out how to do that, to tell me. So we're going to just change these colours back. I just have to find out what they are. Okay, so the background for this one here, properties available in Dún Laoghaire is 66 red, 66 green and 66 blue. So let's do this. Save that. Refresh that. So that's that one there. Then the next one, the location, and you can see that it affected 3 rows because that style is linked to 3 rows. The next one is the location line. Oops. And that style is 3-3 red, 3-3 green, 3-3 blue. Save that. So when I refresh this, it should be the 3 lines of location in it that are affected, as you can see. And then the final one is this green kind of alternate shading text. Where's that? That one is CC red, CC green, CC blue. Save that. Refresh that. So it's kind of good to go over this and put it back the way it was, because you can just see how much control you have over formatting when you plan your CSS page properly. And I'm not kind of blowing my own trumpet here by saying this, but like I'm really glad that I put in those comments, because it's making it a lot easier for me to do this editing process. Because if that comment wasn't there, I'd have to be thinking to myself, well what was that again? Light grey? I can't remember. And I mean, all I did when I made those comments is I copied the previous comment, and I find when I do that, because I'm always mixing these up here, I find if I get one comment working, I just keep on copying it, because that way I get the sequence of this correct. And all you need is 1 line of text, and it's so helpful in terms of your future use of it. And for people doing the project as well, if I just show you this for a second. Always have the project marketing scheme in front of you when you're doing your project, because there's a lot of stuff in the project marketing scheme, and with the best will in the world, if you don't have that marketing scheme in front of you, you're going to miss something. So use it as a checklist. If you go to the web authoring page, go to the click to see examples of web design projects page, and then you can view the project marketing scheme. And there's a lot of stuff there. So when you're doing your project, have that in front of you, make sure you're satisfying all the criteria. But one thing there that I'd say 9 out of 10 people who handle projects don't put them in comments. A, it's very good programming practice to put in comments. B, it really helps you if you put comments in, and other people as well. And it's only 1 mark, but all of these 1 marks add up to something big. So just get into the habit as you're going along, as you're creating pages, to comment as you're going along. It's a good habit to get into. And it's very easy to comment your code that way, whereas if you try to comment it all at the end, it's a bit of a chore. You guys have done a bit of programming at this stage, haven't you? And I presume you comment your code in Visual Basic and C++ and stuff. Yeah? And do you comment it well, or is it kind of like I've done there, sparsely commented?
I do sparsely. I know nobody else is going to look at it.
Sorry?
I know nobody else is going to look at it.
But it's more, I think, just it's like
It's
putting
a
on
habit.
yeah, it's like putting on your safety belt in a car. I don't even think about it, but it's like a good habit for a programmer to have. So that's those ones there. The next one, properties available, text. What was that? That's that text there, the yellow text. So say for a second we'll just change this to white. It's not going to be dark background. Remember, white is maximum red, maximum green, maximum blue. So refresh that, and see that it changes in 3 locations. The location text, that will be this text here, location, property type, and price. So let's just put in, I don't even know what this is going to look like, CCFF FFF. Anybody want to guess what colour that would be? Purple. Let's see now. It's maximum green, maximum blue, and less red. I'm not sure myself. No, you're not far off. It's kind of a, certainly got a kind of a bluey tinge to it. So it's like a light blue. And that's the end of my style sheet. So that was just a revision of CSS styles. So that's probably as far as we're going to take CSS styles this time around. The one thing that I feel that I haven't covered with quite a lot of time is that linking, using CSS position elements on the page. So we've used CSS to format text and to create background colors. We haven't used CSS for position elements on the page. It's all to do with the div tag. And once you do that, you no longer need to use tables to position elements on the page, so you wouldn't need a table to position this photograph opposite the text. So CSS code is there if anybody wants to find out how to do that. Any questions before we go on? No? Want to do a bit of HTML? Three things: bulleted lists, comments, and mail to hyperlinks. Comments we've seen already in CSS, but comments are different in HTML. Mail to hyperlinks are where you can get a hyperlink, a mail hyperlink. I'm trying to think of can anybody think of a website where there's a contact us link in it? Oh, hold on, I can. This is the website I used to buy hiking gear. Far too much of it as well. Any kind of e-commerce site will have a contact us link in it. I'm fairly sure that website address is correct. Nothing seems to be happening. Sure, Amazon must have a contact us link. Amazon. Am I spelling that right? Okay. Usually down the end. Anybody see it there, Selena? Get to know us. Okay, hold on.
I think it'd be good to link to your account, then there's a contact.
Yeah,
You
it's
send
too
me
long.
your account.
Hold on. I just search for Jackson Sports because I know that they have them. I thought that's what I typed in. Jackson-sports.com.
.co.uk.
Oh, did I? So I think it's down the end. Contact us. When I click contact us, the default mail program in my on my computer should open. I have to click this link here, which is Outlook Express, and the email address is already entered into the two box. That's what a mail to hyperlink does. And it's very common in any kind of commercial website, so we'll look at how to do that. That's it. So starting off with bullets. There's two types. It's based on word processing, like web authoring. Because it's quite a young application, borrows a lot of its ideas from other places. So what are the two types of bullets generally?
Circles and squares.
We're maybe part of the same family, circles and squares. See-
Ordered and unordered.
Yeah, so that you've got symbol bullets and you've got numbered bullets in like layman's terms. see those in Word. Second type of bullet is numbered bullets. And that's what they look like. I think I'd be able to write at this stage in my life. Of course, you can also have this and kind of indicate which ones you want in Word. So it's very easy to create bullets in Word. The bullet buttons are up here, so that's the symbol bullets and that's the numbered bullets. To have bullets, you need to kind of type something in. Usually you click the bullet button first, so if I click the symbol bullet, it creates a symbol bullet, and each time you press return then it creates another bullet for that line. I had a problem with sequence this morning. So it's very easy to create bullets in Word, and like, I don't have to assume, I know that you guys have all done that, but it's so easy that we don't think about it. It's a lot more difficult in HTML to make bullets. We can change the bullets really easy. I can just highlight it, and there's numbered bullets. And if I don't like those type of numbers, so say if I want letters, I can do that. Or if I want Roman numerals, I can do that. You can do all of that in HTML as well, but it's a little bit more involved. And if I change back to symbol bullets, there are a number of different types of symbol bullets. So Tommy mentioned square. There's a square symbol bullet, and there's a bullet which is not coloured in. They're the three types of symbol bullets you can have in HTML. It's actually quite limited what you can do in HTML. With symbol bullets, you can only have those three: the circle, the square, and well, actually, this is called a circle. That's a square, and that's called a disc. So I might actually just copy this here a second. Very clever. Actually, too clever. Okay, there we go. Just on the next slide about this. So there's three types of symbols you can use for bullets in HTML. It's quite limited. So this is called a circle, that's called a disc, and that's called a square. I wouldn't mind, but I went to bed early last night. That was really good. Not coloured in very well, but you get the idea. So as I mentioned, it's a little bit more involved making bullets in HTML. You need two tags. Whoops, wrong again. First list tags, and the entire bulletin list needs to be enclosed in these. And then secondly, list item tags. So for each item in the list, here you can see there's 3 items in the list. Each one has to be enclosed in list item tags. And then, just before we get into the nitty-gritty, the attributes. Anybody define for me an attribute? What is an attribute?
Like font area.
Sorry?
Area with, no, sorry. So,
I think you're on the right track, but I think you're giving me an example of an attribute. What is an attribute?
It's an element of the tag that you can change to.
Yeah, it's additional information that you can add to an opening tag to give it more power and to make its job more specific. So different tags have different attributes. For example, paragraph tag, what's an attribute you can add to the paragraph tag?
Align.
Align, yeah. So a lot of tags have the align attribute. The table tag, for example, you can align to the center or to the left. But the UL tag has only one attribute, I think. It's the type. So that's where you specify what the bullet is like. So the type can be this, I think it's with a C. Circle or square. That's pretty much symbol bullets in HTML. We're just going to make some symbol bullets. So if I go in here, I'll just copy this page here, paste it. The old heading there and stuff. Okay, so I just deleted a lot of stuff out of that page, so we'll see what it ends up like. There it is there, it's links to the slide sheet. So we're just going to make some bullets in here. View the code. Scroll down a bit, so this is the blank area here on the page. The first thing you need for bullets is you need items in the list. So we just put in the days of the week. Now if I save that and refresh it, will those days of the week be on consecutive lines of the page? No, they'll all be on the same line because there's no brake tags. One thing about unordered lists, you don't actually need brake tags. It's part of the list item tag and it does that for you. So if you're making an unordered list, the first thing is that the entire list has to be in between opening and closing unordered list tags. And it's good to space out your code, so I think it's useful just to have a blank line above and below. Then every item in the list needs to be in list item tag, so just make one list item tag here. And then copy it to save me the bother of typing it. So just using Control and C, Control and V. And then closing this item. Again, copy that. So because the UL tags unordered list tells the browser what type of symbol bullet to use. So if it's an unordered list, it uses a symbol bullet, either a circle, a disc, or a square. And then for every list item that it finds between the UL tags, it will make a symbol bullet. So there are 5 sets of list item tags. It's going to be 5 bulleted items. And because I haven't told it what type of bullet to use, it uses the default, which is a circle. So just make sure I've saved this. Press that, and there you can see that despite the fact that I don't have any break tags, it still put them all on the same line. I just want to make a slide on that. Simple enough, yeah? Okay, so just play around with that a bit. There's not much you can do to it. All I can do really is change the style here. Type is equal to circle. Save that and refresh that. So you can see that's very exciting really.
If you use the break tags as well, it would be just a bigger gap between the...
There would be, yeah. Or you can make it square. And that's all that you can do. With symbol bullets, there's nothing else you can do with them. I'm just going to put one slide up so that people can see how to change the style.
Is this the default style?
It is, yeah. If you don't specify style, come up as a coloured in circle, which is this. So you don't have to put in types, it will just come up anyway. Okay, so that's on our list. We'll take a break for 5 minutes.